Hey. One more time. Muulize. Hey, how are you? Muulize. How do you do? Muulize ataka amekula lunch. Twende. Hey. Hey. Sasa. To the side. Go. Hey. Hey. You understand my mind? Hey. Turn it. Woo. Wake up, sing my shoulder. Hey. Tuamke. Tena. Muulize, how are you? Hey, bounce. Hey. Unakumbuka hii? Hey, to the side. Twende, hey. Sasa weka energy, twende. Weka binduki, twende. Tunaenda to the side, you go and up, chini. Move. To the back. One more time, let's go and up, and down, and move. Hey, to the back, to the side. Ati paskizo. So follow if you want to. Turn. Nobody can stop you. Turn. Turn. Follow if you want to. Aya. To the side. Turn. Furaha. Twende furaha. Akambia rafiki yako. Hey, mshike hivi. Kulewa na marafiki. Kwa sherehe tumefika. Siani watu wameshika watu. Shika mtu. Alia iko ndani. Wote tunajibamba. Tena. Hey. Waka juu. I am so happy tena. I am happy today. So happy. Tena hivi sisi ni wa. Ai, tumefanya chai lakini. Tunapenda kamwe. Tena sisi ni tumefanya soda. Tena furaha. Nikuwa na marafiki. Tena furaha. Hey. Nikulewa na marafiki. Tena furaha. Anachukua, weka. Chukua. Anachukua. Weka. Tena. Anachukua. And pause. Tena. Hey. Twende. Tamu kupendwa. Wewe umeshana twende. Hey. Tumeyazoea. Tena. Mpenzi wangu mkwani. Kwani nao shepu yake mbaya. Twende na uchini. Mtangaji malaya. Unajua hii? Gonga. Ha. Tena. Kwa pezi. Gonga. Ha. To your side. Hey. Tunachota hivi. Kwa mama sis. Ay, ten. One more time. Hey, get not chat. Ay. Wake up. Hey, quick, to the side. Tana. Hey, kiniachi. Ay, quick. Aya, tafuta crushi. Oh my God. I'm crazy. Ay, oh my God. I'm crazy for you. Oh my God. I'm crazy for you. Mwambie. Tunaenda side pole. You go. Hey, rakata. Tena, hey. Tena, hey. Tena, hey. Tena. Oh. You kick. You go. Hey. Turn. Hey. Stop. Hey. Aya, weka energy sasa. Turn. Hey. Turn up. Pia, okay. Raisi side to side. You go side. Hey. Pia, okay. And step. Who are you, Judah? Antilini. Go on the other side. Hey. Welcome corner. Nice one. Oto umeshika hapa. Tena ukina vuta rusha waka. Tena vuta rusha. Tena vuta rusha. Raisi. There say. DJ.
Hi, technical.
Weka energy.
Technical. DJ. Ngoja kidogo, hapana keti. Ngoja kidogo.
Yeah.
Dancing DJ. Chagua wimbo ile unapenda na ukuje hapa mbele. It's a dancing DJ. Chagua mambo sasa. Let's go. Aha.
Twende. At the side.
Wake inside. Wake up.
And go. Hey. Turn. Hey. Tena, one more. Ten. Hold on. Take it away. DJ, Twende. Ona sasa. Ona. Twende. Thank you so much.
Okay. Talent gani huna? Ama nikupatie microphone tuone kama unaweza ongea. Mimi siogopi kudanganywa kazi. Kama inafanywa vizuri zaidi na sauti yako, chukua kazi. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you had a very nice lunch break. Wale ambao waliweza kujiunga na MC Larito, of course DJ Kelvin on the other side of the main stage. Hope mlijibamba mbaya. Nilicheki wase kadhaa hapo wamekatika hatari. People were dancing there. But I am still asking myself, nyinyi mnaweza haja kudance hivi na msweat? Siri ni nini? What is the secret that I don't have? That you guys can be dancing, no sweating. Yeah? Nasikia mtu anasema siri ni Yesu. Yeah? Kila kitu ni God. Okay. Okay. We shall know in the fullness of time your secrets. But for now, welcome back to the youth village. This is that particular village where we are making sure everyone's voice gets to be heard, because we are a People Dialogue Festival Day 2. Day 1 was high energy. Day 2 is already proving to be better energies, and we are going to wrap it up tomorrow with even bigger energies, and a lot of good things are happening here. The session that we're about to go into, ile sesheni ambayo tunataka kuingia, is a session on SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Yaani kusema vijana tujihusishe na uongozi na SDG. Sasa mtu anaanza kuuliza hii SDG ndio nini sasa? Hii SDG ndio nini? Na inakuwa ni vizuri ni confirm, unaweza kuwa watu hapo wanasikia SDGs. Mwingine anadhani ni ST. Oh, si hiyo. D. Msishike hiyo joke. Mwezi shika ndio hata hiyo vitu amkana. Hiyo vitu kama kuna mtu anataka kushika. Baada ananisaidia kunipitishia hii mic. Tukiendelea hivi wataanza kusema ameanza kuongea vibaya by the way. Somebody? Anybody? One of the ushers, please come and help me take the mic round. Tuanzie pale nyuma. I just want to hear and pick a few voices and confirm what do we know about SDGs. And if you're passionate about SDGs, which SDG? SDG number 1, SDG number 2, number 3. I could be saying there are numbers na kumbe hata labda hakuna numbers. Somebody pass the mic around. Nani anataka kuwa wa kwanza? Who wants to go first? There is a hand up there. Twende pale kwa my... Am I allowed to call you white? Am I allowed? Yes, my white brothers. Bro, your mic ni kama umeguza? Iko sawa sasa, iko sawa.
Okay. No, it's
could you please? Yeah, thank you. And move forward a little, like the young person you are. Thank you. You can be upstanding. You can still keep standing. Thank you. Let's go.
What do you want to know?
What do you know about Sustainable Development Goals?
I know that there's 17 goals and we need to reach them before 2030. And I am here to reach some of them from Denmark. They're made by FN, UN, hvad skal jeg sige? They're made by UN, United Nations. They're made to make the world a better place and teach me and other young people to make the world a great place for everybody.
Thank you very much. Appreciate him. You see that feeling you have? It's the same feeling I get every time I get to a new audience. Yeah, I'm always nervous. You're not alone. Somebody else? Hapa kuna mkono, alafu nimeona mdada pale ndio atakuwa next. If there is any that you're passionate about, please mention it.
Hi everyone. Hello good people. My name is Johnston. Hiyo kitu.
You?
Hiyo kitu. Stage fright. Hello everyone, tuko pamoja. Raise your hand if we are together. Okay, so my name is Johnson Abo. I champion SDG number 6, water and sanitation. I work with the manual pit MTS to enable them to properly dispose of waste in our communities.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you very much. Could you pass the mic to the lady back there? And then I come to the lady next here. Twende hivi hivi tukisonga. I'll pick a few more ones before we can get into the conversation. The Danish Youth Sounding Board is here and they will be hosting this particular session among other co-hosts. So I'll mention all of them. Kama unasikia inakataa unakuja hapa mbele kidogo, kuna mahali mitabeni inakataa kufika. Kuja tena. Jaribu sasa.
Good afternoon.
Ndio hapo.
My name is Elano Ondeng. I know that the aim of the SDG goals is to aim for global peace and prosperity for the people and the planet. And I'm passionate about SDG 4, which is gender equality, and SDG 8, which is decent work and economic growth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There is a lady here. Hapa. Mahali ulitoka karibu na muti. Huyo. Na ukuja hapo mbele kidogo. Ndio isikukate. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Madhoni, and I've been able to study the SDG goals for it was one of my units in the degree that I did, and it is one of the Agenda 2030 by the United Nations to get all the countries to develop at a good rate. I'm very particular about SDG number 12, which is sustainable cities and communities, which encompasses a lot of things from urban planning, climate change, and sustainable development. Now we're experiencing one of the challenges, the climate change with the extreme heat and extreme flooding. I hope we'll be able to discuss more during this session. Thank you.
Beautiful. Two more. And there. Any other person? Then confirm to haraka haraka nikimaliza nimpea, and then there is the last one here. Songa tu mbele kidogo ndo mic isikukate. Thank you.
Good afternoon, comrades.
Afternoon.
My name is Daniel Sarenge. I've been studying about the standard development goals in strategic development, and even in the current government, it is incorporated in the strategic political strategy of up to 2027, the bottom-up transformation agenda. I champion the quality education SDG under my CBO, which is called the Enlightenment to Change. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And lastly, here, my brother on the farthest end with a green apron.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon once again. My name is Oponyakolo Eugene. The founder.
Could you please move a little to this side? There. Yeah, try speaking from there.
My name is Oponyakolo Eugene. I'm the founder of Zalendo Movement Africa. Zalendo Movement Africa is a movement of the jobless masses, by the jobless masses, for the jobless masses, with the brilliant ideas on the matters of smart farming, or the matter of climate change advocacy, and the matter of sports diplomacy to solve the unemployment menace. So we have a couple initiatives, like you've said, the matters of SDGs. SDGs, time is really moving. In these 17, we have not really worked on it. If you look at the hunger issues, Africa, we are trying to solve the hunger issues through the smart farming, through the hydroponics farming, through the aquaponics farming. So we are also trying to dwell on the climate action. We are also trying to solve the SDGs. So we are planting trees with the military. We have what we call Wazalendo greening of military barracks. We also have what we call Wazalendo greening of prisons. So yes, these SDGs need to be worked on. The most unfortunate thing is there is more talks than there is action. If you look from the climate space, since I've been there, and even the agricultural space, majority of the people see them speaking passionately about these issues. They never come to the ground to try now instill or rather come up with the structures to help solve the problem on the ground. So I urge all of you, instead of just having this conversation, I'll welcome you to the ground. We even have an event on next Saturday at the University of Nairobi. We are planting fruit seedlings. We are doing under what we call Wazalendo orchards, where we are doing fruit seedlings in each and every empty spaces. So just instead of just talking, I urge all of you, I ask all of you, join us, let us try to solve, be part of the problem, solution oriented, not just problem oriented. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate yourselves, everyone. Now I've had numbers, and of course, I've looked at these things before, and I always looked at where I come from, Muku Ghetto, and there is a few SDGs that if you don't sell proper, you'll be bringing some problems. An example is an SDG, I don't know what number, speaks to clean energy. Clean energy, right? And at times it's been confused with green energy. Sasa mimi huko ghetto naona tu maboi na mabag zao za black hapa weekend wamefunga. Nashindwa what a beast jamani. Then you go ask them, hey bro, green energy bana. Green energy bana. Yeah, but then again, these things, you see, Kenya can benchmark, and I know most of you can be used as very good benchmarks on some of them. Like, I think SDG 15 or 16 speaks to life underwater. Life underwater. 14, nazijua kwa kichwa Ai jamani. 14. Na Wakenya ndio wanajua hii kabisa. How did you make it? Chini ya maji, I say. Chini ya maji. And it's been working. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this afternoon session. It's going to be a 1 hour 15-minute session, and we're going to have this session moderated by Joseph Owino. Joseph Owino sits in, or is a member of the Royal Danish Embassy's Youth Sounding Board, and also a young person with disability. Makofi yake kabla nimuite akuje, yote ni ya kumtambua. And this particular session is hosted, of course, by the Sounding Board, the Royal Danish Embassy Sounding Board, and the National Youth Council, NYC. And as already precedence has been said, ni vijana tujihusishe na uongozi na SDG. Allow me to take this opportunity then to invite Joseph Owino to take it over from me. Makofi yake anaponjo motivation. Ayo makofi haitoshi bana, appreciate him better. Karibu.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon once again. Very grateful to have this opportunity to moderate this session. Vijana tujihusishe na uongozi na SDGs. And so right about time, I'll get direct to calling my panelists to the stage so that at least we get to dive into the conversation as quick as possible. And so the first person I'm gonna call to the stage is Madam Eunice Oyule, who's an ESC, Danida Youth Fellow and a focal point at the ULID Africa. Then the second person I'm gonna call to the stage is Mr. Arnold Gekonge, who is a member of the Royal Danish Embassy Youth Sounding Board, as well as the Executive Director of the Youth Championing for the Youth and SDGs. A round of applause as he gets to the stage kindly. Thank you. The third person I'm going to call to the stage is Madam Ashura Michael. She is a former member of the National Youth Council, Youth Advisory Board and also serves as the Inclusion Associate at the United Nations Development Program. Kindly take it to the stage. The fourth person to the stage will be Mr. Collins Ombajo, who is a Disability Inclusion Advisor at the Light for the World. And so make to the stage kindly. To have the last panelist, who is Honorable Mary Kituku, who is a member of County Assembly, Kitui, Machakos, sorry, and she is also a member of the Kenya Young Members of County Assemblies Association. Are these the mics that are available? Can I get an additional one if possible? A round of applause for my panelists. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as you've been told, we are going to explore on the magnitude of sustainable development goals and how, the panelists whom I'm having here are using, the SDG blueprint to inform their engagement and their practices within their facets, where they're coming from. From Arnold, who's from the Royal Danish Embassy. We're having Ashura Michael, who's from UNDP. We're having Collins Ombajo from Light for the World, Eunice Oyule from ESC and ULID, and lastly, Honorable Mary Kituku from KMCA. And so I'll give them each 1 or 2 minutes to introduce themselves, because I know they have other capes that they hold, and so that at least they get to inform the audience about their areas of exploration. So I'll start with Arnold. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mkopoa. It's good to see you all today, ready for the conversation that we are going to have shortly. As has been mentioned, my name is Arnold Gekonge, and I'm the Executive Director of Champions for Sustainable Development Goals Youth Organization that is based here in Nairobi. And as well, I am in the Youth Sounding Board of the Danish Embassy here. I'm excited to see that youth have come together to have this very important conversation. Because if we are to make significant progress in implementing or even reviewing the goals, we have to involve the young people in doing the actual work. So I'll be able to talk more as we continue with the conversation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. You're not active. Good afternoon. Can you sign the way I'm doing it? I'm deaf, so if you answer me, I can't see. Good afternoon. Just sign the same way I'm doing it. Very nice. Thank you so much. My name is Ashura Michael. I'm Inclusion Associate for the UNDP Kenya. So we support the government of Kenya to implement different projects, especially on the SDG. And we focus to support the sustainable development goals for the UN, and I'm happy to be here. And this is more than a panel discussion, but it will be more of an interactive session. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to be here.
Good afternoon once again. I'm Collins Ombajo, working with Light for the World, an international disability and inclusion organization, working directly with persons with disability. And in Kenya here, we work to answer to SDG number 8. decent employment and economic empowerment. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, Woza. Hi, bana, nisalimieni vizuri. Good afternoon. My name is Eunice Oyule. I work with ULEAD Africa on the climate action component, basically, and I am a youth in Kenya as well. Thank you.
Nyaze, mko poa? My name is Mary Kituku. I work for the people of Machakos County at the Assembly, representing UDA and all the interests of the youth. And I'm also a peace ambassador in Machakos and the reigning SDG champion through the Vanguard Awards. I'm so glad to see you. At least tumekuja for the dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wide round of introductions that we've done. And now we'll dive directly to the discussion so that we explore on how you, from your focal points, you've engaged in terms of ensuring that SDG implementation works well for our communities. And so I know all of you, or if not a good number of us, knows about the SDG blueprint. I know like this is a blueprint that emanated from the United Nations and was launched officially in 2015. And now countries are at different stages in terms of implementing this blueprint, right from SDG 1 to SDG 17, be it like zero hunger, no poverty, good health and well-being, education, quality education that is, gender equality, and up to partnership with the goals that is SDG 17. You know, like we're working, I know we are all not working on all the SDGs, but you have one or two or in like that you hinged upon as far as your activities are concerned. And so the first question will be a common question to all of us. In your experience, like how has it been in terms of the youth inclusion and the youth participation in SDG implementation, and it's how the blueprint is governed? How has it been within your facets of operation? How are the youth involved? Is it like you having a good number of the young people involved in this discussion, or is it something that is reserved for a certain faction of the young people while others are left out? And so at least we're ensuring that with Madam Ashura and Mr. Collins, who working with the institutions, especially Mr. Collins, who working with the focal institution that addresses the issues of persons with disabilities, how has this been inculcated for the young people with disabilities? And so I'll start with my colleague Arnold, so that he gives us his anecdote so that we get to understand the bridge, how he's bridging this gap. Thank you.
So with your permission, moderator, allow me to give just a small background of the SDGs, because I do not assume all of us know very well what the SDGs are, where they came from. So the SDGs were adopted by the member states of the United Nations. And they are to run for 15 years. So that means they have a deadline of 2030. They are being implemented for a period of 15 years. Before the SDGs, we had Millennium Development Goals, which were 8 in number, and they ran for the years 2000 to 2015. So if you do the maths, you realize right now we have close to 5 years left until we get to the deadline of achieving the SDGs. The SDGs are 17 in number, and some of you mentioned them when the moderator asked the question. They have 169 targets, and they also have 232 indicators. What is the use of having indicators in the SDGs? It is to help member states be able to review the progress that they are making in implementing the Sustainable Development Goals. The targets speak to specific issues for each goal. For example, if it's reduced inequalities, you find that there are a number of targets, which are a number of targets on that goal, and each target has indicators for measuring that progress. In the Kenyan context, we have reviewed the SDGs 3 times, in 2017, 2020, and 2024. According to the United Nations Secretary General's 2024 SDGs report, it shows that only 17% of the indicator of the targets of the SDGs are on track. So you can see how much we are off track. And when it comes to implementing the SDGs, it involves all stakeholders. It will not only be a role of one stakeholder. There are many stakeholders involved, and media is one of them, and so are you as a young person who is running a community-based organization. As civil society, you can be part of the county government, national government, you can be part of the private sector, the United Nations, the media, academia. All those are stakeholders who are implementing the SDGs in various ways. And the second last thing I'll say for now is that from the organization that I lead, we've been running educational sessions that target young people between 18 to 35 years of age with information on what the SDGs are. You might realize that often these days, even when you apply for opportunities, can be for higher learning, can be for work, can be for going to get opportunities for scholarship or so on, you'll be asked how what you do relates to the SDGs. And some of those information, you'll find them in your institutions of learning. And then as far as I'm concerned, I feel like young people need to continue engaging so much more and collaborating with other stakeholders to implement, because where we are now, and if we think about it, there is nothing that is not covered in the SDGs. There is nothing that is not covered in the SDGs. When you run through them from number 1 to number 17, it covers all aspects of life, from people to the planet to prosperity to peace and partnerships. Everything is covered in the SDGs. And whether you know it or you don't know it, you are already doing something about it. And we need to continue and put more effort in ensuring that we make progress. Thank you, Joseph.
Okay, thank you. You've done a big summary, Arnold, on SDGs. I don't know where to start and where to end, but thank you for the summary. Okay. As UNDP, we do a lot, and remember, UN has got 65 agencies. However, for UN
Thank you.
So I'd like to start by asking how many of us have engaged with You Lead Africa in one way or another? Oh, nice. So it means we need to do more awareness raising. I can see only 3 hands. Okay, so You Lead Africa works to nurture the potential of young people to be able to engage in peace and security, decision-making spaces, that is governance and politics. And then there's also climate action, which is just new, has been set up recently. And then the other one is entrepreneurship and business. And so how we advance the SDGs, mainly because we partner with MS Center for Training and Cooperation Development, and it is basically on capacity development. And so when you look at capacity development, basically it speaks towards SDG 4, which talks about quality education. And then the other thematic area we look at is, wow, the other thematic area we are looking at is SDG 8, that is entrepreneurship, decent work, and economic development. And so how we do this is we have a partnership with the ESC community. And the partnership, what we do, there's always an annual fellowship where young people apply for the fellowship, and those who are successful get to pitch their business ideas. Those that are successful get to be funded for their business ideas. So that's one of the ways we look at decent work and economic development, because then these businesses go ahead they have to show the capacity that they are able to employ other young people. The other thematic area is peace and security. We all know that in the region of Africa, there are places which are volatile because of the conflict going on with those countries. And so what we do is to capacity build young people and support them in engaging in these peace conversations so that they are able to be champions of peace within their different countries. And the last one is climate action, which is the new thematic area that You Lead Africa is engaging in. And we have noticed that people suffering from the issue of climate migration and also the issue of peace and security, the nexus between peace and security and climate action. So currently we are doing a regional consultation to find out what are the real causes that make you to be vulnerable to these climatic impacts. And then from there we will be able to do activities aligned to that which the youth have been able to give us as insights. And so Lead Africa works with youth consortiums to be able to reach the grassroots. So whether they are CBOs, non-governmental organizations in these different countries. And now the good news is that You Lead Africa has gone to the rest of Africa. Previously, we were only in the 8 ESC countries, but now we are in Africa. And so if you'd like to engage more with us, please reach out to me. Thank you.
Good afternoon once more. So the Agenda 2030, which was brought forth by the Millennium Goals, which gave birth to the SDGs, had me thinking about the young people. And they had a research, and the statistics stated that by 2030, we'll have a growth of 7% increase in the young people. So to myself, I told, nilijongelesha nikajambia, here are the goals. As a young person, how can I do it? The first thing that came to my mind is to get elected, right? To represent my people. And through KYMCA, we get to talk to the young members of county voice and that work best for the youth, which are inclusivity, empowerment, and representation. And also, as a young member of the county assembly, we enrich ourselves to work with the 17 goals, which were enshrined by the 2010 Constitution. And I believe that through the inclusivity of everything, I'm able to work with the First, SDG, zero, no hunger, zero poverty, and gender equality, which I'm being on because I believe that equity is not equality, and including everybody in everything that you do is going to make the world a better place, like UN dreams about. Thank you.
Still holding the mic, Honorable. Like where you charged with making decisions that affect those who reside within the county, or the population that is within your county, within the county confines. And like the county assemblies have, they have a correlation or a working agreement with the county government. And the county governments are a key partner in enabling SDG localization, as well as the county assemblies, being that you are the legislative arm of the county government. How have you strategized around enabling SDG localization, and what are the steps? What have you done in terms of enabling SDG localization? What are the steps that you've done, that you've made? What are the barriers, if there, that you've met during in working out SDG localization? Yeah.
Thank you for the question. So the good thing about our constitution is it allows public and private integration, and I work best through partnership. I'll give you a good example. I work together with an NGO in Mlolongo called Positive Life Kenya. It was born as a dream to curb the issue of HIV in Mlolongo. But best, we got a partnership with Denmark and an NGO called 100% for the Children, because we realized that we cannot work with the mothers without working with the children. That is one way that we were able to work with SDG number 1, hunger, zero poverty, hunger, quality education, because through that, through the partnership that we have, and the county government works best in education with the ECDs. We're able to educate the young children, which is their right, through the partnership. Sorry, I can't remember the second question.
Steps that you've made in terms of, if at all you've looked into how to harness SDG localization, the steps you've made, the barriers you've met in this process.
Oh, the barriers are too many. No one believes in young people, which is the biggest challenge I've come across. No one believes that we are ready to implement what we've written or what we dream about. And it's simply because sometimes we don't walk our talk. We can be here all day dreaming about making the world a better place, but as you can see around, I'm seeing so many bottles lying around, and yet we're saying we want to work on the aqua life, we want to work on life on land, yet the little things that count, we still cannot do them. The second issue is about the policies that we have. Currently in Machakos County, I am sorry to say we don't have a very working youth policy, unlike what we have in the national government. We have a 2019 youth policy, but it's not really working in Machakos. So most of what our dream to work with cannot be executed because there are no laws, or there's no adequate something that talks about what it entails and how we should do it.
Okay, hold that thought. I'll be coming to in the next round. Eunice, you've mentioned that among the SDGs, you've introduced climate action as one of them. Then there's also decent work and economic growth, SDG number 8, that you also hinged upon, as well as enhancing awareness about the other SDGs. And you've identified a number of institutions that you engaged with, being as you lead Africa, including TCDC. And I understand that it also has an alliance with the DFC, that is the Danida Fellowship Center. And from this angle line, I want to ask, how can international partnerships be harnessed within that frontier to enable SDG implementation within our localities, as far as the working arrangement that ULEAD Africa has with the Danida Fellowship Center are having? Yeah.
So just to start by responding that Danida Fellowship Center is a wing under the Danish Embassy, which supports young people to go and learn about accelerating the sustainable development, the conversation about sustainable development goals within policy dialogues. And so it is a 3-week training program. And how youths get to engage with that program is that you get to be nominated by these different institutions. That is the Danish Embassy as well as You Lead Africa. And so if you get the opportunity to be nominated, then you apply for the opportunity, and so you're taken in to be trained for the SDG course. One of the things that you will realize with that course is that it touches on all the SDGs, but more so, it is a course that enables you to understand the number one, interconnectedness of the Sustainable Development Goals, and number two, how human rights are connected to Sustainable Development Goals. And because of that partnership, we now have several young people getting into the ESC community and also getting into the Danish Embassy to represent the different boards. That is on an annual basis. And currently, Joseph, you know that you as part of the YSB, you're doing certain activities to look at how to implement some of the action plans we were able to build from the course. And so how international partnerships enable young people to accelerate this conversation is, number one, by giving them the resources to be able to learn what the SDGs really mean. And then past that, enabling young people to see some of the opportunities that are available for them to participate and to engage in, for them to accelerate that conversation. So far, some of us were able to be supported, not now by the not by the embassy, but by the different partnerships in You Lead Africa. Some of us were enabled to participate at the COP29 because of what we were able to showcase at You Lead Africa. And so I think it is in both ways that international organizations are able to partner with young people who are really passionate and visionary about their countries. The other thing is the initiative about being visionary over your country or over the continent of Africa comes from your willingness to learn, your willingness and proactiveness to go after information. And that's what I think sets apart those who are applying for such opportunities. I believe I've answered your question, Joseph.
Well, thank you so much. I'll come in with a number of another question in the next round. Mr. Collins Mbajo, you sit at the helm as the Disability Inclusion Advisor to the Light for the World, to harness and see how persons with disabilities can access decent work and access decent work and economically be impacted by your programs. And these are you hugely target persons with disabilities, who the youth with disabilities are part and parcel of that community. And you've also highlighted about the data issue, which we all attest to that is a challenge to our faction of population. Then in terms of enabling SDG implementation from where you sit, or inculcating the voices of young people with disabilities in terms of enabling their participation within the SDG implementation facet, what are the issues that you've got to meet in terms of, because we also understand that there's diversity within our faction. One, in terms of the type of disability. Then two, there's also the aspect of the diversity in terms of the communities we're hailing from. And so it's not, we can't have a resolution on the mitigation measures, which is a one-size-fits-all. How are you addressing this kind of diversity when you implementing, when you out there getting to implement these SDGs, especially the one that you highlighted on SDG 8? Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. One, we work to empower youths with disability through giving them an opportunity to learn and practice advocacy as persons with disability. So one of the way we engage youth directly is to train them as young persons with disability to facilitate disability inclusion in the society. So these young people with lived experience, we train them and certify them as disability inclusion facilitators. So these facilitators, we work closely with them to champion disability inclusion with other partners. The biggest challenge we realize is that disability awareness is not well entrenched in the society. Many organizations, partners, think that by making their environment accessible, they have included persons with disability. But inclusion goes beyond restructuring your physical environment, creating ramps, or maybe accessible lifts to ensure that you make persons with physical disability locomote freely. The biggest issue that we've been facing is the attitudinal barrier. A lot of people in the society do not understand what the diverse types of disability are and the meaningful inclusion methods of making them participate actively in development making processes. So we mainly start by orienting them into the disability world, creating awareness on the types of disabilities, the barriers, the diverse impairments come with to ensure that there is a disability, and also the reasonable accommodation needs that these persons with disability in their diversity require to be included. So based on that understanding, we create linkages to the communities of persons with disability through their organizations. You realize that organizations of persons with disability emanate from the national structure to the regional, even to the community. There are organizations of persons with disability. Move into Dandora, ask if persons with disability come together. You will be led to organizations that are available in that rural setup. That still speaks to the grassroots in the rural communities of Nyalgunga, mention the coastal areas. So based on the national umbrella, which is the United Disabled Persons of Kenya and other disability-specific national umbrellas, you realize that you will find persons with disability in each and every community that we live in. So it means disability is cross-cutting. Disability is not a particular language, is not a particular society, is not a particular county, but affects families, affects friends, affects people that we know closely. So it means that everyone needs to be aware. So by breaking that barrier and utilizing the lived experience of young persons with disability to entrench disability inclusion in society, we find it easy to create linkages for employment opportunities for persons with disability in business, companies, profit-making institutions, institutions of government, non-governmental institutions, where employment opportunities are available. Persons with disability are also given opportunity to showcase their skills, their professionalism, and their qualification in such positions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Collins, for bringing it out by and large. And I know we'll still exchange much into it. And now to my good friend, Ashura. You sit at the helm of the UNDP, and you understand that as you'd alluded to this earlier, UNDP is an agency of the United Nations. And the United Nations, it backs a lot of good policies from the global level. That is, we're having this discussion is hinged on the SDG blueprint. And also there's the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which has also good provisions that aim towards supporting the plight of persons with disabilities. But now we're having an issue because you've emanated from the community, you've been within the communities and you've seen how the challenges are there. what is it that becomes a challenge when now the localization of these policies are to be harnessed to support the welfare of persons with disabilities? When you link in the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities with what we have in the local, and now whatever we have in our locals, and again also linking it with the SDG blueprint, what are the challenges that come in between that make these not realizable?
Wow. Wow. Honestly speaking, what I can say, first of all, I want to congratulate the government of Kenya, the Organization of Persons with Disability. They have really done amazing work. Sure enough, honestly, Kenya has very nice policies, legal frameworks. I even congratulate the Parliament of Kenya, that is the Senate, where they've done an amendment of the 2023 Person with Disability Bill. And currently, they've done a lot of contribution to it. As a UN, we are not influential on that, but we provide the technical support on what can be done and what can be achieved, okay? And where you mentioned on the gap, on the transition of power really affects a lot of implementation and even the legal frameworks to be promoted, to promote disability inclusion. Many organizations along the way, as most of the panelists have mentioned, we have, where a person with disability, we have a ramp. Where are these PWDs? What does it mean? Inclusivity without inclusion is nothing. Meaning, we require to back up the capacity of training. As UNDP, we are really value the goal number 17, whereby we talk about partnership. We need each one of us to come in and contribute. When each one of us come to contribute, we achieve a lot. What do I mean? So we work closely with the government, private sector, the CSOs, NGOs to achieve this. And the gap that we have is capacity building, resources. Like right now when we say what happened in US, it affects all of us. Do we fail because of that? We don't fail. The transition of power, all this affects us. Meaning, this is the right time for us to come together locally, partner together, and see a way we can work together to solve these gaps that are present. And that is why we developed the joint strategic plan in all to 2027, whereby all the CRPD can be achievable. The Constitution of Kenya clearly talks about disability inclusion on Article 54, and even the CRPD talks on the individual contributions on what we have. In the strategic plan, we have 5 thematic areas. We have economic empowerment. Initially, I've said we've lost 1.7 trillion because of exclusion, and that can be achieved through empowerment. And as youth here, the UN is ready to have the UNDP volunteers and encourage you all to come in and register as a volunteer. We are there, it's there on our portal, whereby we can volunteer because we believe the youth have a lot to contribute to help us achieve the SDGs. In this program, we have the economic empowerment. We have the UNDP volunteers, internship programs. I know most of us kindly come and register for this. As an intern, we offer student opportunities to contribute in the little way they can. We also we know that each one of us can give a lot of ideas and innovations, legal framework. Like our legal frameworks are very nice. Just me and you as we are seated here, what have you done to a person with disability this morning up to here? Have you interacted with them? Have you done anything? Have you given them an opportunity to work? Give them space. It is about giving them space, empowering them to work. And that is what inclusion is all about. It's not just about a matter of saying someone has sat in the congregation. What are they doing about it? It's an individual call. Give us an opportunity, whether it's an usher. Like, for example, I ask, how many ushers here are on wheelchair? How many are they? You see, so let us do our little efforts and our contribution, and that way we take this responsibility, be responsible fully. Each one of us from your home, you have a house help. How many have employed one was a disability? You see, it starts from a small care. Maybe how many caregivers? So let us, with a small step, we can achieve a lot. And the Constitution of Kenya, the legal frameworks, supports all that. The UN is also there to support us as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that elaborate overview and submission. And so, to Arnold, we sit together in the Royal Danish Embassy, and you're a beneficiary of an example of what our colleague Eunice alluded to in terms of international partnerships, an arrangement between the Royal Danish Embassy and the Danida Fellowship Center. And in terms of enabling the youth involvement within the SDGs, how can the international partnerships can be made to fully work to support the inclusion of the young people and their voices within the SDG implementation framework, and as well as within this process? What are the barriers that are inhibiting the inclusion of the young people within the SDG implementation framework, and how can this also be addressed in a nutshell?
So thank you for that question. I'll start with the barriers. The barriers mostly it's information flow, and whether it reaches various young people, especially those in remote areas who are hard to reach, where technology or electricity is a challenge. If we can, those of us who have been able to gather information, not only on the SDGs, but also on opportunities for other young people from our country to participate in various SDG implementation activities, we should take the initiative to share the information and let it trickle down to reach other young people. Besides that, there could be, I've mentioned the technology, electricity, information, and there could be other policy or accessibility challenges. But what I believe, even as from my colleague Ashura, she has highlighted various aspects very well. I always think that a young person, regardless of any differences that they have, or their identity, their ability, where they come from, can be able to do anything if you give them the opportunity. Every young person is capable of doing anything if empowered to do so. The first question you asked about partnerships, making them work is simply fostering the partnerships, for encouraging various stakeholders to be willing to work together, just as we see they are, and we encourage more stakeholders interested in implementing the SDGs to reach out to other stakeholders, especially those who work in community organizations, community-based organizations within the grassroots, and partner and engage them actively in those partnerships. And also, you asked about international partnerships, but it is also important for our Kenyan context that we continue to work together. The various stakeholders whom I mentioned before, and I'll mention them again. We start from the national government, the county government, we go to the private sector, we go to the manufacturing, we go to academia, the media, the civil society organizations. All those people can cross-collaborate. An example is at Champions for SDGs Youth, we've been hosting an SDGs pre-conference at the end of every year that is hybrid. That means a young person from any place who is able to access internet and a device can join the activity on Teams, or stream it, or watch it later when they have access to internet, maybe at an institution, or in another place where they can be able to access a computer and internet. And so far we've conducted over 50 information sessions, dialogues, and conferences that seek to empower the youth on why it's important to engage on SDG implementation. I'd invite all of us to, when you get time, go online, check out championsforsdgs.org or at Champions for SDGs across the socials, and engage with us. In case you'd like to join or be part of our activities as a member, you can go to championsforsdgs.org/opportunities and sign up. I thank you.
A round of applause. Thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without your indulgence and without you keeping it here, we wouldn't have made it this far. And so it is time that at least we have you as the sixth panelist. Also, we get in your thoughts. What are your, what is it that you have in mind or in to heart that you want to pose to the panelists? So I'm opening the floor so that at least we get a round of questions for the panelists. I think we can get to 5 if possible. Yeah, so that at least you also get in, sharing your thoughts or questions or so, if at all you're having. And so, can I be helped in getting this mic to the audience? And you also mentioned, if possible, the person you're posing the question to. Thank you. If at all you're throwing in a question. Thank you.
My name is Evans Otieno from VSO. Kenya has reported VNR, this is to Arnold specifically. Kenya has reported VNR 3 times, 2017, 2020, and last year. And in Kenyan report, it seems we are doing well. Almost 60% of the 168 indicators we reported on was way, way positive. But the reality is for young people, and this room has mostly young people, the reality is not that, we are not feeling that. Just last year, across from behind where you are seated, 60 young people were massacred just across in that building because young people were not feeling these changes that VNR reports that Kenya submit are highlighting. What is the gap in between there? And therefore, what will be the role of us young people to hold our different levels of government accountable to deliver on those SDGs, especially the ones that affect young people?
Thank you. Mine is Edmond Magara. I work with the Youth Alive Kenya. My question is towards the Honorable from Machakos, Barry. Now my question is, I was in Machakos, I was working in Machakos in 2019 when that youth policy we were working. So it's interesting to hear you say it's not working. So I'm very, very curious to hear why that is. But then when I now program in Nairobi, we experienced a similar situation. And then I think it also speaks to the concept of transitioning of governments. So you realize then there is a period whereby there is the existing government that implements or comes up with a youth policy or whatever policy really up to completion. We saw this in Nairobi County. Nairobi County's youth policy was up to completion, and we launched that in 2019. But sometime last year, we had the new government saying we want to redo the youth policy. So I think it's also a similar situation that back in Machakos, how do we then handle that aspect of, when we have a new transition, the new government then wants to come up with new, quote unquote, legal frameworks. That then kind of creates some sort of circular, back and forth, then delays. I think we all know the problem. We all know the problem. We know what we should do, but we're kind of trying to go back and forth with some, processes or policies or frameworks that then delays, achievement of these things. So it's really nice to hear that from you. Thank you.
Hello. My question goes to Mary Kituku. My name is Jane Dongo. I was supporting Dreams organization, but unfortunately it stopped due to the USAID freeze. And my question is, all these girls who we were serving with PEP, PrEP, CMM, does the freeze affect in the achievement of the SDGs? And if so, we as a Kenyan government that depended on this freeze, what is the way forward to ensure that we don't slow down on achieving the SDGs?
Good afternoon, everyone. Please, I was here in the morning, but allow me to be vulnerable. My question will go to you directly, yeah? So, allow me to be vulnerable. So, at the age of 12 years, I had lost both of my parents. I lived with an uncle who drugged and raped me for more than 3 months. Rain became a street boy for 5 years. Battled mental health, 10 years of my life, 6 times suicide attempt. Was rescued by Jambi Koikai, the late fire Mama Jambi, and also a lady of Usikimwe, had a surgery, and also Big Ted at Nairobi Women. Schooled myself. She schooled me up to Form 4. After Form 4, I schooled myself in a kazi ya udonda na udere. I worked for SAF, worked for CMC Motors, resigned to focus on my businesses where I sell shoes at wholesale price, but also I feed and clothe street families for the last 12 years now. Every Thursday like today, 8 to 10 p.m. at NTV, Saturday in the morning, 7 a.m. up to 12 p.m. And I also do rescue for men who have gone through GBV. In fact, wakati nilitoka hapa in the morning session, hiyo ndo call ilikuwa nimepigiwa. There's a young man who was gang raped in Mudhurwa. Ndio nimetoka kumrescue, nimempeleka hosi, saa hizi nimerudi. So, her point was what has made me rise. As someone who has got free surgeries, my story on social media took on NTV, and I also been able to school 45 street families so far through my program of Check on a Man. We have a lot of issues that are going on in society, especially for the PrEP and everything. And most of them, it's really hard to give them, especially for me, my program of street families. And this thing has affected us. What will we do to get the drugs? How will we get volunteers like them to help rescue and do all of these things? Because my percentage in the society is only 15%. But in a week, I get more than 4 to 5 cases of young ladies who have been raped or young men who have been gang raped. And what can we do? And then the last question is to her. ODM is playing a very big role in changing society. But we've not seen a lot of youths, for me I speak for the street families, that I school and help. ODM has not tapped in the street families. We have a lot of talent, we have a lot of people who have potential, but for your party, they have not tapped in the street families. And I've not seen one street family that has come out to say, I'm a product of ODM. And as I sit down, please, I cut you some socks. If you're willing to buy, every pair is 100 shillings. Long, happy, plain socks is 100 shillings. You're feeding one street kid. And I'll be so much thankful. For you, the last question is, I have a young girl in Alliance Girl. She's in Form 4. I have a deficit of 80,000. Please, I'd love to give you the school account details. You pay for that young girl. She's from the street. And be blessed. God bless you.
Thank you so much. I wish to stand for a moment as I address you with all humility. Pole sana for what you went through. There is no one in this world who wants to go through GPV. And I'm proud and to be associated with you from today because of one thing. You didn't allow anything that you went through to make you not to be a better person. And it calls out to each and every one of us. Whatever we're going through, please, you can talk to someone, you can make yourself a better person. Mental health matters and it is a human right. So what I can tell you, as I answer Miss Ndongo. Miss Ndongo, are you with us? Are you with us, like Mr. Mutu said? So I'd like to answer the both of you. It's unfortunate that USAID had to pull out from the partnership, and they're dragging, that event is dragging the 17 goals behind, because there were people who were getting food, aid from them, education from. So tumerudi nyuma vile tulikuwa tumepanga, and it's so much unfortunate that they didn't leave us with a timetable of what to do. Like walitoka, and the rest of the world, you cater to your needs. But what I believe in myself is, if I am to build a house and I say I'm going to simply because we cannot afford it, right? But we have the governor who was a kitty through with the MCS. We have the women rep akona kitty. Sindo? We have the MPs who have a kitty through CDF. Why can't they consolidate all of it into one? Shule is going for education from kindergarten mpaka university. It will not be the first country, but we can be the first in Africa. We can be proud of it and uphold ourselves to it. Secondly, we can also have African countries partnering together. Si lazima tungoje huko majuu watuletee pesa, si ndio? What if Ghana has cocoa and we can do better even in Kenya? Hatujajaribu kupanda cocoa. Have we tried? But maybe we can. We can partner with them and get the best out of it. Surviving is winning. Surviving is winning. Don't give up. Na bado mapambano youth. Bado mapambano. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A round of applause. Unfortunately, we are short of time. You'll get to access them after the panel has closed. Unfortunately. Thank you so much. A round of applause for the panelists kindly as they get off the seat. Before you go, we need to get a photo, all of us together. Then also, a round of applause for you seated here and follow today's discussion from the start up to this final point. Thank you so much. Let's play a role in implementing the SDG and working around that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Wapi makofi ya Joseph for that nice moderation. Na mnapiga makofi na njaa. So mpigie Joseph makofi mazuri tafadhali. Very nice. Thank you very much. Asante sana. Kama unasikia bado uko na nguvu ya kuendelea, nionyeshe kwa ishara ya mkono. If you still have some energy left in you to continue. We have another fire session coming up. Fire session coming up. What nature of political parties do we have, and how friendly then are they for the young people? And so we're going to have a discussion here on youth leagues and their connection to the mother party, and how those parties are supporting the young people of these political parties to gain political power. So before we get into that, MC Larito, hi. Oh, Haimas. Wewe ita jina yako venye utaita.
Naribu jina yangu. It's Himas. Himas is what?
Himas.
Yes. Kuna mtu hapa ameamua tumsaidie kuweka kitambulisho vizuri.
Waitwaje?
Na venye kitambulisho ni expensive kupata.
Haya. Tuko na nafasi ya kusave some 300 bob ama 1000 hapa. Kama unamjua Albert Odiwuor Oroko, uje umchukulie, kama ako karibu aje ajichukulie. Oko Albert Odiwuor. Kijana kabisa alizaliwa baada ya 2000, ni mdogo huyu. Kama unajua huja kumwekee ID. Ama ako hapa?
Ako hapa?
Anakuja.
Tafadhali ukipoteza, kama umepoteza ID yako kuja kwa DJ Box utakuwa unapata and then you take your free space, just breathe kidogo tu, mwili acha kushikana kidogo, just stand up where you are.
Hey sweetheart, simama tu, niruhusu nikuite hivyo kwa saa hii tu.
Usimame tu kama uko na miguu mbili tuweze kusimama. If you can stand up from where you are, just stand up. Hatu umekaa umechoka sana.
Hello beautifuls. Nice. Are you ready my guys? Hey, mmekaa sana. Tebu stretch kidogo, stretch kidogo. Stretch kidogo. Umeruhusiwa hata kufanya wengine. Usifanye hivi kidogo utoe. Mnanipata? Haya, stretch kidogo. Nice. The other side.
Nasikia mibongo venye zinalia.
Haya, zungusha kidogo. Zungusha kidogo, zungusha kidogo, zungusha kidogo. My DJ never ready. I'm ready. Let me go. Twende. Tupiga. Weka juu. Hey. Weka juu. Weka juu. Shikilia my DJ, shikilia my DJ. Ngoja. Watu wa side, shida ni nini?
Hii side tu ndio imechangamka. This is where life is happening, right? This side is sleeping.
Shida ni nini? Shida ni nini? Mmeshiba ama ni Kiswahili?
Ati shida ni Kiswahili.
Kiswahili.
Oh, but this side you are okay.
Wanaelewa Kiswahili.
Very okay.
Vice versa. Oh my God. Are you ready?
Ni kama hawakufeel. This side don't dance. Let's see what this side can do.
Watu wa side, sio tufanye hivi. Nyinyi watu wangu, wale ni watu wa majuu.
Na mnaona sisi tuko wadogo.
Nyinyi watu wangu na wale ni watu wa majuu.
Ndio.
Sawa. Watu wangu, are you ready? Nipe mikono. Nipe mikono. Chapa makofi 1 2 3. Sasa unaipiga kiusanii, si kwaya. Mnaipiga let it go. Let it go. Shika hapo. Why your side?
This side, are you ready? This side, are you ready? It's not about the numbers. It's about what you people can do, okay? Are you ready? Let me see yourself. Give a hand of applause. Hello.
Sawa. Mnajifanya wajanja. Watu wangu, tuende hapa. Watu wangu, tuende hapa. Nichapieni. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Wafanyie hiyo.
It's no hurry. Where come from? Speak Swahili. They say money does not close, okay?
Nice.
So where you are, just take your space. And because outside it's hot, just do this. Feel yourself. That is how we do it, brother. Bring it on.
Sasa hapa ndo tumechangamka kabisa. Tunaonyeshaje? Ngumi ngapi? Wanaweza hiyo?
Twende DJ.
Let it go my DJ.
Bring it on. Uko katikati uko wapi?
Nipe juu. 1 2 twende wewe Fati. Let it go. Hey. Elmati. Leta. Pole tu. Kama kwaya. Aya nipo hapa. Pepe. Let it go. Elmati. Aya niweke mikono zote juu. Step it. step. Haya, twende chini hivi. Nani amekanyaga waya?
Oya.
Right about now. Nipe mikono tena juu. Give me. Can I see hands? Haya, shika kichwa twendaje? Juu. Chini. Leta. Juu. Leta. Haya, weka hivi. Let it go. Haya, nipe. Angalia. Let it go, my dish. Leta tena. Weka hivi. Twende. Tena. Jump it up. Pump it up. Let it go. Are you ready? 1. Turn around, center. Let it go. Leta. Haya, rudi mbele. Hey. Tena. Nyuma. Rudi mbele. Tena pole. Twende. Bazo. Nairobi. Hey. 5. DJ. Mbona mnajifanya ni kama Biena kushinda? Mbona mnajifanya ni kama Biena kushinda? Simuliona? Wacha to make proud. Leta hiyo ngoma tena. Right about now. You ready, my people? Are you ready? Let it go, my DJ. You're my DJ. Give me someone like this. Let it go. Twende hivi. Raisi. Wapi? Let it go. Haya, nipe shaku. Let it. Wapi? Tena. Leta. Wapi? Hey! Haya, weka moja hivi. Twende hivi. Namba 1. Let it go. She's my number. Wapi? Number. Let it go. She's my number. Haya, twende chini hivi. Tushawana. If you know this song, tunasemaje? Tushawana. Haya, weka mikono hivi. Leta. Hey. Leta, weka. Leta. Haya, si tutoe uchafu. 1. 2. Shower. Let it go. Wapi? Haya, tafuta mse kama huyo. Unapoangalia hivi. Twende. Leta. Wapi? Leta. Haya, mshika hivi paki. Twende, shika mtu. Sasa tukimalizia. Shika mtu. Haya, twende step kidogo. 1, 2. Twende. 1. Twende. Leta. Haya, twende chini juu. Tena. Chini. Juu tena. Chini. If you know the song, unasemaje? Ati. Zaidi yako. Makofi juu.
Hata kama
DJ unapambana. Ngoja wacha tuone kama watu wanajua gospel, sawa? DJ from the top, au sio? Tukimalizia, si ndio? DJ let it go, let it go, let it go.
Tukimalizia ya ukweli.
Are you ready? Are you happy to be here, my guys? Nipe hapa juu. Nipe juu. Nipe juu. Nipe juu. Nipe juu. Nipe juu. Haya, nipe makofi. Wapi?
Kama kanisa.
Inevale. Tena. Leta juu. Haya, angalia mtu hivi. Umwambiaje? Ati, sema. Ati, sasa mimi sai dunia.
Usaidie kwa baba.
Tena sema ati. Ati. Wapi? Alafu weka mikono kwa kifua. Weka hapa kwa kifua. Unasemaje? Ati.
You love me when you
leta. Wapi? Tena. Haya, weka hivi.
Yeah.
That was my time. I go by the name MC Larito.
Wapi makofi wewe?
Kama unijui, Kama unijui, mnajifanya. Go. So that was my time, guys. Thank you.
You can have your seats, please, ladies and gentlemen. Can I have your seats? Now, for the ones who've just come to this particular village, this is the youth village. And this youth village is that village. A village where, like the nature na inabamba tena sana. Like I've said before, elections happen in Kenya after every 5 years. Political parties are always on the limelight, and political parties remain to be the center of conversations every other time, even after elections. It is because these are the vehicles people use to get into power. Young people need to be engaged meaningfully in governance and in leadership. And so political parties have what they call the youth leagues. And so we are asking ourselves, what has been the relationship between the youth leagues and their mother parties? And is there a way we can make it better for young people to meaningfully contribute to the success of their political parties or of their mother parties? So today, we are going to have this conversation here at the Youth Village at the People Dialogue Festival. And I'm not going to be the host of that particular session, so I want to invite the particular host for that session who has run for office before in Kabete constituency. Indo ile ya ule mjamaa. Ya ule mjamaa. Huyu mjamaa mwenye aliuawa na risasi hapa town, alafu mkakuwa na by election. Alikuwa yoitaje? Muchai. Wale wanaita Muchai ni watu ambao sio hiyo region. Watu wa hiyo region wanajua anaitwa Muchai. Ni jina yake, alafu nani akakuja nataka huyo immediate Waititu. akatoroka akakimbilia huko, akashinda. Very nice. Sasa wewe ulikuwa unashindana na hao watu na Waititu, ulikuwa unaweza rusha mawe? You will equally tell us when you come here if you ran in a party and if you were in the youth league of that party, what was the relationship. However, let's get into it. Relationship between the youth leagues and mother parties at the youth village as co-hosted by the Danish political party youth leagues and the Kenyan political party youth leagues. And this session is moderated by, please give a round of applause to Annabel Njoki as she comes to take the stage. Mpigeni makofi anapoonjo jamani. I can't feel the applause. You're not motivating her enough to come, please, ladies and gentlemen. Take it away.
Hello. Hey, Bana, didn't anybody have lunch? No. Oh, I am so sorry. Na leo ni ile siku mimi utembeanga na sweet kila time, lakini sasa unfortunately leo ni ile siku nilisahau kutembea nazo. At least ingesaidia kuongeza sukari kwa mwili, si ndio? Haya, tujaribu tena. Just try. Hello. Just give me one hello, just one. Hello. Bas. How many here belong to a political party? Like, if you know you belong to a political party, raise your hand. Mkoya, unajua tabia zingine siasa imetufunza sio mzuri. Lazima tu nikuite na jina sasa ndio uinue mkono. Waresh mko wapi? Hakuna Waresh wako kwa chama hapa? Ndio wanataka kutafuta chama? Aya, kuna mwenye amesema ni Gen Z, we are partyless, so we're going to have that session. So as our good MC said, my name is Annabel Njo. I am a legal practitioner by profession, yenye tunaitaga wakili. I am also a former aspirant in the 2022 general election. I vied for the position of Member of National Assembly, MNA. Watu huwa wanasema MP, but you don't realize with the current katiba, ukisema MP, unamaanisha yule mwenye anaketi kwa National Assembly na pia unamaanisha yule mwenye anaketi wapi? Kwa Senate, because there are two houses of parliament. So I was running for position of Member of National Assembly, Kabete constituency. I vied on a ticket of the Service Party, TSP, whose party leader is Mwangi Kiunjuri. It was a very interesting experience. I think there were only 2 of us who were in the category of youth who were in that race. Interestingly, we were also both female. Well, obviously, I did not get it. That is why it is reading from aspirant. Otherwise, it would be reading honorable. But it was, if there's something you're going to do in this life, ujiwanie angalau kiti moja, hata kama ni MCA. Let me tell you the lessons it teaches you. It will teach you things about yourself. It will teach you things about your family. Unafikiria ati kura zangu kwa sababu nyumbani? Mimi nilikuwa sure nikienda kwa hiyo debe ile moja nilikuwa nimeacha kwa nyumba ikuwa yangu. It will teach you lessons about the kindness of strangers, that Kenyans understand what their problems are and even have solutions. Like nilikuwa naenda kuzia sera, unapata kwa agenda point moja yangu, msera niambia, na by the way madam, umefikiria hii na hii. Na unaangalia kitu anasema ina make sense, na si kitu ita cost do mob kufanya. So Wakenya pia wako na nini? Wako na solutions, si ndio? Wakenya si tu kupiga kelele, but Wakenya wako na solutions. So today we're going to be learning in the same way that I'm saying you're going to learn things about yourself, you're going to learn things about your constituents, that Kenyans have solutions to their problems. Today we're going to focus more, not just on Kenyans in general, but a specific segment of Kenyan citizens and a specific segment of the Danish citizens, specifically the youth. So that today, we're going to be having an engagement about these vehicles that we use to attain governance, organize the governance of this country, implement the governance structures of this country. I don't like the phrase of political parties being the vehicles to get power. Because, in my opinion, that conversation around power is the one that has us dealing with the kind of problems we have today. Because we're not seeking political office to go and sort out problems. If my drive is to wield power, mimi nikishakalia ile kiti, see I'm wielding the power. What motivation do I have to do anything else other than wield the power? Exactly. So, these vehicles that are called political parties, that only less than 20 people here belong to, and others have told me they are partyless. Amen? Where is my partyless member? Amepotea? Okay, there we have them. How do we go about engaging with them? Okay? How do you go about engaging with the founders and the leadership of your political parties? When the Political Parties Act requires special interest groups to be provided for. When you talk about SIGs, we're talking about women, we're talking about youth, and we're talking about PWDs. Beyond having them in the Constitution, how do you engage with them as a mother party? Are young people in Kenyan political parties being engaged as they should? So, with no further ado, will you allow me to introduce our panelists? So our first panelist is Mr. Samuel Odongo. Mr. Samuel Odongo is a member of the UDA Youth League, and I believe everybody here knows UDA is currently the ruling. Is the ruling? Yes. So Mr. Samuel Odongo, please come to the stage. Give him a round of applause as he comes. Najua wengine mnasikia UDA, mnasikia nyongo, but the beauty of today is that it is dialogue. So today we have to be friendly to each other. Then we have a Madam Pamela Gitobu, youth leader, DEP party. Who can guess, before Pamela comes, who can guess what DEP is? Somebody tell me what DEP is. DEP. D for dog, E for elephant, P for party. DEP. Somebody said Devolution Empowerment Party. Ama museme mbas. That's a bit easier to get. Yeah, you know, you can already see the face. Okay. Karibu sana Pamela. Then all the way from Denmark, we have, now I'll warn you, Danish names are very difficult to pronounce. They're very difficult to pronounce. So you will understand the Kenyan in me. We have Miss Anne Pilgaard, who is a member of the Social Democratic Youth. Welcome, Anne. We were with her in Vordenburg. Yeah, I remember that train ride. Okay. And then we have, this one is even harder. We have Mr. Mikael Freitag Pedersen, Liberal Youth. Bent, was he among the youth we met at the social hall? No, he wasn't. Okay. Ah, all right. Thank you. Sure. There's a microphone there. Come here. Great, it balances in terms of gender. Yeah. So I think it balances in terms of gender. We've tried to break the monotony of the white with the blue shirt to corset. Yes? So our first question, this one, I'll open it up to you as well because we're just setting the stage, sawa? And then we'll take it up with the panelists. What is the ideal relationship between a youth league or a youth wing and the mother party? Wewe ukifikiria, what is supposed to be the ideal relationship between a youth league and a mother party? So anyone from the audience want to hazard an answer before we give it to our panelists? Yes, gentleman in the black polo. Ule mwenye amevaa chain. Sijui kama ni pendant. What, in your opinion, should be the relationship between a youth wing and its mother party? So, if we're talking Social Democrats in Denmark, what should be the relationship between the Social Democratic Party and its youth wing? If we're talking ODM, what should be the relationship between ODM and its youth wing? What should be the relationship between DEP and its youth wing? Yes?
First, greetings. Good afternoon. First, I have a question before I come to opinion.
No, I'm going to have to limit you because there's a direction we need to take and we don't have time.
Yeah, first, is there certificates for everyone who has ever attended for this dialogue? Again, opinion between mother party and the whatever party. First, inaweza kuwa attached. It might be your forefathers breed walianza project, so you, through you being there, you use like a vessel to reconnect what your forefathers started. Na hiyo hailazimishi, it is like oil poured on your head, inamwagika yenyewe. And again, when it comes to whatever, joining a mother party, you don't know what was left in that mother party. Umeipata to your joining a party which already your forefathers grew. So you joining there, you need to pay. You need to pay. So I don't understand. I need explanation better so that I can understand.
We have two gentlemen here. Start with the one in white, alafu, and then to his right, to the one in black.
Very briefly, like that.
Yes, very briefly, yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Dennis Odor. I think the direct answer is that they both should have the same core values and objective. Thank you.
Okay, so Dennis tells us they should have the same core values and objectives.
Good morning, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Kelvin Jage, although from Nyandaro, and I'm asking, let's take for example the ODM party. Do you believe the aspiration that the ODM party that had in 2005, when it was ile school itengenezwa, in the terms that akina Kasamo wanajoin is the same?
Njage, what was my question?
The relationship between the mother party and the youth party.
You're a good student, a student. Then, what is your opinion? What should be the relationship between a mother party and a youth wing? Yani leo ukiingia kwa chama, tuseme nimefungua chama, si ndio? Alafu huu join umeingia youth wing. Una expect tukuwe na relationship gani?
Okay, nimekuuliza na mimi between.
Okay, let's keep it moving. Thank you very much. So to our panelists, which way do we start? Do we start in Kenya or do we start in Denmark? Yes, do we start in Kenya or do we start in Denmark? You're not nice. You're not nice.
Own structure.
but we are intertwined in a number of other ways. For example, my youth wing have a lot of seats in the different councils and different boards, but at the same time we have our own opinions and own views. So in general terms of if you could say youth league, I'd rather call it a youth party, because I think there's a difference between calling it a league and a party. So there needs to be some autonomy to the youth wing in general. Yeah.
Okay, so Michael is telling us in Denmark there's more autonomy. So as compared to Kenya, where we talk about leagues, meaning you're within the mother party, in Denmark they have autonomy. So they're operating as a separate entity from the mother party, despite the fact that there's alignment in thought. All right, and?
Yes, Sasani, I'll just say that I agree with what Michael have just said, and to elaborate, I would also say, at least for my organization, the Danish Social Democratic Youth, we tend to call ourselves our organization actually not really a youth party. And then also it's actually kind of normal to not necessarily be a part of the mother party, but still be a part of the youth wing still. So I think that's also a bit mixed as well, and it's also emphasizes that you can disagree with the mother party and you can always be a member again. And sometimes when our mother party has some stance that the youth wing don't agree with, we normally see a certain amount of people turning away from the mother party and then going inside the issue to talk about politics.
Okay. So in Kenya, we tend to have a scenario where young people feel that they are tools to attain a certain political end, so that youth in Kenya feel that politicians require them whenever they need to mobilize votes, whenever they need to mobilize turnout for a political rally, turnout for an event. But then when it comes to serious internal decision making in the political party or at various assemblies, then the voice of the young people is not really required. So, because Denmark has very strong, we can call them a youth party or a youth organization. How have you moved from the place where young people are not just a means to an end, but that young people are actually involved in the policy decision making, that young people can actually stand for election within the party structures and get elected, that as the youth organ, you can take initiative by yourself and you will be able to connect with the citizens and they will be able to accept your position, take your position and give you the opportunity to lead. How did the young people in Denmark get there? Was it automatic? Like, did you have it from day one, or is it something you have worked for over time?
I wouldn't necessarily say that we had it from day one. I think it requires a lot of hard work, and we need to work extra hard to get some of our policies within the mother party. It's not always easy. Also, when we're talking about like general structures, for example, about gender equality as well, it can be a tough road to go through. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's really important, and we also encourage our members to take part of the local boards and also some of the different working groups there is within the mother party as well, so they can be the young voice in that area as well.
Okay, is there anything you'd like to add before we move to?
Yeah, maybe a bit. I mean, it's also, you say that we have it in Denmark, but I think it's also like a work in progress to maintain it, because it is tough to get people involved, get people engaged. But I generally feel like, in Denmark at least, we are very good at being honest and saying, all right, this is what we want, and we want it rather than not you want it. So if our mother party disagrees, we say, all right, that's all right, but we need to get something for putting up your posters. We need something for supporting you every day of the year. So in general, there I think that's the strong side of at least our youth parties, is that we keep on being honest to our mother party of what we want and what we need from them. Yeah, I think that was the only thing.
Honesty with the mother party. Okay, so for Sam and Pamela, do you think as Kenya we could get to the place where political parties are willing to entertain the thought of the youth element operating autonomously from the mother party, even if not 100%, say they have a 25%, 75% balance or a 50-50. Do you think we could get there?
Thank you for your question. Actually, we are already there. In Kenya, we are already there. Where the youth...
no,
give me
wait.
time to explain.
Wait.
UDA is the ruling party, so we are there already.
Yes, so the question is,
yes.
Remember, let me give you context. When we talk about autonomy, for the youth organs in Denmark, they actually facilitate their activities. All right, so can we get there as Kenya? Do you see us getting there? Because at the moment, we're not there. Youth wings in Kenya do not operate separate from the mother party. And anytime it looks like the youth wing is going to become too strong for the mother party, then the mother party moves very quickly to cripple the youth wing.
Actually, what I'll say is that for us to achieve this dream, we try to give the youths an opportunity in elective positions where they will be independent-minded and try and focus on several factors that are affecting the youth. So, for instance, my own party, they have said that I use my own party. We have tried to empower youths and even provide fair grounds during elections so that once they pass the nomination and are lucky enough to be elected by the people, they can reason independently despite their political factions. Though it is still a process, it has not been well achieved, I can say that, but by giving the youths that opportunity to be leaders in various arms of the government, like we have our party treasurer, Honorable Japheth Nyakundi, who is just 31 years old and is already an MP. We are giving him that opportunity at the helm of the party to know how the party is run and how he can push or champion for the youth policies that usually resonate with the youth. So this platform, we may not entirely achieve what we need, but once you are a youth and you've been given that platform, kindly, please, we are trying to engage the youth so that when you receive such platforms, you try and push for those agendas that are pro-youths. And however much you may find some obstacles because they are there, because we know the youth are always, their reforms are always to some extent radical, which does not go well with the millennials and other older people in the party. That is why we will say that this relationship is not that entirely harmonious. So we encourage the youth, where it needs a slowdown, you slow down. Where it needs no slowdown, you make sure that you push it to the end, because it entirely depends, it entirely affects you directly. Thank you.
Okay, Pamela.
From what we have been doing with the Devolution Empowerment Party, we have at least managed to have at least 3 youth representatives in the NEC, National Elections Executive Committee. And I, as the National Youth Leader, I have really tried to have my youths with me. Even if there is something, a decisions to be made at the party, I make sure my youth are present. One, we have been able to achieve this because our political parties here in Kenya are very poorly funded. So as youths, we are more enlightened than the founders of these political parties. So at least we engage in funds mobilizations So when you have this fund mobilization, you make sure that at least some percentage is for the youth. So you can use it to have youth activities that through that, we'll be able even to pay for the nominations of those youths who want to vie for election posts. All those who want to be nominated, you can be able to do capacity building as a party. So from my own side, the youths of Kenya are, they can be fully engaged in these parties, and they can even hold more than 50%, comparing the funding of the political system that we have in this country. So if we have good structures with most of the parties about the youths, where the founders of these parties are not threatened, because when one youth comes up and they see that, well, this youth is so smart, they try to cripple them down. But when now there are many, they can even fundraise for these organizations and make decisions, because funds drive the politics of the country. Yeah.
Okay, so Pamela is telling the youth to capitalize on our numbers. What I can't do by I try and get as many of my like-minded youth as possible so that we can ride together. Now, Pamela, you mentioned you're the national youth leader in your party. Does that position entitle you to sit in the National Governing Council of your party?
Actually, most of the meetings, I am consulted if I am available for the sitting.
Okay.
So we have been given that priority, and having very good party leader and the chairman of the party, we as leaders, youths, we have a very good position in that party.
Okay.
Yeah.
Samuel, I forgot to ask you that as well. Does your national youth leader sit in the National Governing Council of the party?
Yes, National Executive Council.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Because it's either NEC or NGC.
Yes, yes.
Okay. For the Danish, allow me to still call them youth wings because it's easier. What does your leadership structure look like? Now that you're separate from the mother party, what does your leadership structure look like? Either of you can take it.
Well, it's a bit complicated, but I'm going to try to take from the top. President and vice president, and then we have 9 members of our national leadership board, which have like chairmen of different committees. So that's like the general structure in the youth party in the national level, and then we also have a lot of regional and local boards and stuff like that. So that's general the structure of it, and we are granted 2 seats. Both the president and vice president are in the national leadership of the mother party as well, and I'm the international officer of my party, and I have seats in almost every international organ of the youth of the mother party. Okay. So we're actually a lot intertwined, and we have a lot to say in those organs, actually, from my point of view at least.
It's a little bit different for my organization. We have, of course, a chair and a vice chair, and then we have 9 in the main board, the national board, and then we also have a board where all of the chairs of the local branches have as place in. So we have quarterly meetings in there, and then we have different groups as well. So I'm a part of the international committee in my organization as well, but we are mainly focused on the DSU part of the international work.
Okay. So what should youth leagues do today to ensure that they're not seen as just mobilization tools, but as something really truly a mother party cannot afford to live without? What do they need to do to get that recognition? What do they need to do to get that respect? We can start with Pamela.
For the youth, so that they cannot be used as tools for mobilization, for our party, we make sure that youths have a representative at the NEC where decisions and policies are made. Then after that, when we have nominations, because we pull a lot for the party and we participate in a lot of activities within the party, Actually, I think if there is any road show, it is only the youth who participate in that. And also voter membership registration is the youth that are used on that. So at least for all the nominations, we make sure we have at least 2/3 of our youth being nominated in the nomination list when it is forwarded at the IEBC. And if we have candidates like the governors and the senators, we make sure they tell us as youth what stake do they have for us, so that now when we are participating in this mobilization, we will know, even if not all the youths are going to be nominated, how many will get into the governorship leadership. So we make sure that youths have really participated in this mobilization. Then in return, they are paid back with seats or elective posts. And we make sure that when nominations for the parties are being given, if the youth and applied for any seat, we make sure that that ticket has gone to that youth, and we make sure that they are fully funded for the campaigns. That's what we do.
So ask for what you want as a young person and then stay vigilant. Kuitisha ni kitu moja, kupewa nyingine. Samuel?
Thank you. What we encourage the youth to do is, you know, you can't be remembered when you are not at the table. So we encourage every youth to seize this opportunity of getting into leadership, because we know we have the numbers. Actually, the moderator said, and I concur with him, we are the majority. So we seize this opportunity. We ensure we throw ourselves in the political fields. We talk to our fellow youths to elect us, and then we have these opportunities, and we be there when these decisions are made. Because if we say that we are not there when these decisions are made, and then we will come that we only want to push for our position at the table through activism, then we are likely not to achieve what we want. But if we seize the opportunity of being the majority in maybe parliament, or even if you go to the county assemblies, at least you're the majority of, if at all you're not the majority, you form a good number, then we cannot be used anymore by these people who occupy these seats. So that is the only thing that we can tell the youths, because for instance, my party, we tend to rationalize the nomination fees for elective positions, and we give direct or the PWDs, the PWDs, the marginalized or the are not charged any fee during nominations. Thank you.
Michael?
Thank you. I want to say two things in terms of this. You need to be consistent about what you have opinions on, and you need to be realistic about what's achievable. When I first started as an international officer in my party, and there's also, of course, problems in our party as well with this issue. As I told before, I have a seat on the board of our European Council, which talks about European issues and stuff like that. And we have had a seat. We had, talking and voting rights, but we didn't have our own agenda on the agenda. So everyone else besides our party, our organization, had their point on the agenda. And I talked to the people in charge and said, all right, we want to help you. We want to have a better understanding of your work. We want to have a better work together cooperation. And they said, that's nice. We also want to encourage and engage more young people. And I told them, all right, then put us on the agenda.
Yeah.
So it's a small step. And again, consistency, and you need to be realistic. And you need to take one small step at a time.
Yeah. Okay. Anne, you can close for us.
I think for our part, I would encourage at least my own members and also all youth in the different leagues or wings or whatever you want to call it, to be visible in the Mother Party as well, and run for a place in the board as well. So there's always one young person who can say, oh, remember us, or remember this part, have you considered this? And I think, it's just to elaborate as well, it's just really important to be visible and also choose your battles. You cannot get everything the way you want always, but make sure you have maybe one or two things you want to fight for, and then just go for it.
Okay, so ask for what you want, be at the table, consistency and pragmatism. Again, consistency and be visible. So just a challenge as we're wrapping up. For those who are saying partyless, you've heard how the conversation is like when you're within a political party or when you're engaging a political party. So then it begs the question, really truly, how practical is it to operate from a point of partylessness? So that now the conversation becomes, if you don't like what it is you're seeing from the existing crop, then can you explore the option of having a new outfit that aligns with your values, your thought process, your priorities as a Kenyan youth? Sawa sawa? Because one way or the other, lazima watu watafanya nini? Wataingia bunge. So it's true. So at the end of the day, there's going to be people in parliament. The question is, the people who are going to be in parliament, are they going to be the people who align with your values, or are they going to be the same old people who had you taking to the streets last year? So something to think about. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you very much to our panelists, to Pamela, to Samuel, to Mikhail, to Anne, and of course, thank you very much to CMD for always working tirelessly to make sure that PDF happens. Sawa sawa? Mubarikiwe sana. After this, ngoma inaanza, pate after pate. Do we say that? Or my age is showing? Yes, so thank you so much. Be blessed. You have a question? The problem is, you remember, the session before us ate into our time. So nimeambiwa at exactly 4:30 tutawashiwa ngoma, so we wrap up. Okay. Please be kind to him. Look.
Yeah, I'll give you a mic. Very short, eh?
So I'll be short. I had many questions, but I'll ask one. Your party is the ruling party, right? You are very confident seated as a youth leader. Yet, the Ministry of Sports and Youth, which falls under the youth docket, is not youth-led. So what are you doing as a party leader? If the Ministry of Sports is not led by youth, a docket that should be fully youth-led because it has youth and sports in it, then what is it that you're doing to show us that you're doing something? Number two, you are talking about being involved and everything. If you want people involved, knowledge is power, and we don't treat it as ignorance. If you sensitize us well on youth involvement in parties, then you'll see more people being involved. So, what are you doing as a party leader?
You asked a question already. No. You have a question. Please get to the question direct. No. We will not take another round. So you finish, we go and we close the show.
Okay, my name is Simon Awene. Mine is, I've been following closely the political activities in Meru, where I understand your party is dominant. We just saw the impeachment of a woman leader from the leadership, and I never saw maybe the involvement or the role of the youths towards the Ambona leadership and governance. What are you doing? Because your party has been accused of being in forefront to impeach a woman from the leadership. What are you doing as a youth league to ensure that at least the voice of the youth is also heard in matters governance in that area that is completely disrupted by your party?
No, thank you. Please respond.
Okay, thank you, my brother, for the question. I'll respond to you this way. Yes, we had a problem there. And, for instance, the National Youth Council has not been operational for over a decade now. But right now, the National Youth Council has been constituted, has been budgeted for, and they are going to conduct elections countrywide. So all these youths should seize the same opportunity that I said before, be part of these elections, so that we can revitalize this National Youth Council. By who? What do you mean by who? It is an independent body.
Guys, allow me.
Let me respond to the question.
I am the MC in this village, and this village is encouraging us to have discussions. And if you ask a question and somebody is responding, you cannot just interrupt. And again, what he says is from his position and the information he has from wherever he's speaking from. If they are not consistent to what you expect, then doesn't mean it is not what is happening. So allow him to finish and we can follow through.
Let me say this. Appointing a youthful CS in that docket will not solve the problem. It is just one thing, but it will not entirely solve the problem. The problem can be solved when all the youths in the country are involved through the National Youth Council, and that is how we can solve this problem. Some of these problems we can't solve them once. It is a process, and our youth should understand this. Solving these problems is not a one-time thing. Solving these problems is a process. So once it is a process, we have to understand, and as I said, you see this opportunity that is available. Somebody is saying that it is not functional, but this is something in the public domain. You can take your phone.
Remember, Pamela still has a question to respond to.
Okay. You can take your phone, Google these things, and you find them. Okay. National Youth Council is there. It is there. It was constituted. They took oath of office the other day. Like last year in October. It has been there, but it has not been operational. Yes. We have to accept these things.
All right.
No, I'm saying the truth.
Okay.
No.
Allow
Guys, hamjapenda. Sindio? Hamjapenda. Haya, sawa. Pamela.
All right.
Let me respond to my question about the impeachment of the governor of Meru. I would say that the impeachment is done by the county assembly of any county. And what we have, our party is not the one that is reading this. It is the MCAs that were elected through the BAS and UDA and other political parties. The County Assembly of Meru is made up of 69 MCAs, where DEP is the minority and the UDA is the majority. If you can remember, the first impeachment was read by the MCA from DEP. Then after that impeachment, there was a unity between the governor and the assembly after the governor won at the Senate. So after that, the governor, they agreed to have a working formula where the governor did not honor it. And the second round, she was impeached by the UDA. Until now, we are in that quagmire. But what I would say, the problem of the county government of Meru is that the executive cannot agree with the county assembly. And when you have everybody there was elected via the votes. Remember, every member of county assembly promised their voters something, and this something would not come from their pocket. It was supposed to come from the budget that is allocated for the county government. Now, when you find that the governor is working alone, the MCAs have to deliver to their people. The governor also wants to deliver from their people. Definitely, they will. Is the main problem here. It is the numbers of the county assembly and how they are working with their governor, who is not agreeing with anyone. And remember, she is also partyless. So she can't. Some of the MCAs actually from DP are supporting her and others are not. And some of the independent MCAs are not supporting her and others are supporting her. So it is about what did you promise your area people as the MCA and what the governor promised. And is she ready to cooperate? Because she owns the money. The MCAs are just made there to make policies and now the governor to make. Tap my problem here, I tap yours here. So that's the major problem in Meru County.
Thank you.
So Pamela is taking us through the intricacies of politics. So to summarize that issue we're having here, while our panelists are sort of making a case for the place of political parties in structured governance, if the discontentment that was here, I can try and capture it in words. Because see, he place ni dialogue, sindio? So whereas we may not find solutions sahi, at least mtu anatoka na kitu ya kwenda kufanya nini? Kufikiria. So the discontentment here, Samuel, I think when you go back to your party, this is something to report on, is that the participants here are not feeling as though the party of the day or the ruling party inatilia manani maslahi ya vijana. It is, and their anger is stemming from the fact that youth issues have been sidelined and neglected from one government to the other, to the other, to the other. So it's not even so much, they're not even if we were to have a successive government tomorrow, they are not confident that youth issues are going to be addressed. So we're hearing you in the sense of youth come to the table, get involved, but at the same time, we also need to hear them when they're saying, okay, government, as you're telling us to get involved, even you take initiative, especially on the promises that you made. Remember, your party took youth to Kasarani and a youth charter was signed, right? A youth charter was signed, a women charter was signed, true? Yes? Yes, at Nyayo Stadium. He's even correcting me, it was not Kasarani, it was Nyayo Stadium. So what is the status in the implementation of those promises? That is where the discontentment in this corner is coming from. Yes.
I think from a distance you can start to hear music.
Yes, so now
they'll pump it now, we will not be able to continue.
MC.
Yeah.
MC, are the panelists having a photo?
Yeah, they can have a photo.
No, okay, let me explain something to you. Maybe there's something getting lost in translation. Sawa. For this entire People's Dialogue Festival, there's a master program. Sawa. Iyo master program ina dictate nini nafanyika Youth Village at what time, nini nafanyika PFM at what time, and it is running independent of us. So the reason why you keep hearing him talking about the music is at the main dais at exactly 4:30 music is supposed to go off. So it is not us who are curtailing you, it is the program. And unfortunately, that is always a challenge we face with PDF. Ni ati mambo ni mengi, masaa ni machache, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Iyo utamwambia kando. Mukoya, you're in ODM, you and UDA see each other, I don't know how many times nowadays. You can tell him. You can tell him when we're done.
Thank you very much.
So thank you once again to our panelists. Thank you so much for your time and for participating wholeheartedly.
Thank you very much for having been at the Youth Village. See you again tomorrow, more conversations and more time for us to engage. Thank you and good day. Main stage is our next destination.
What if I say, make you come chill with me in my place? When you go fi come, maybe this Friday. Me and you will be chilling in my room.